Hi all, I want to share with you today the logic behind how we've been able to reduce pipeline builder costs across multiple Foundry stacks by 43%. Pipeline Builder is a low-code tool for building data transformation pipelines through a visual interface. You can see an example in the screenshot. Typically, the logic is recomputed once for each output, attachment, and request here. And what checkpoints allow you to do is it allows the saving of results for reusability across outputs. So here, the checkpoint would be added in the transformation labeled checkpoint and would be saved across attachment and request. What it means in practice is that the higher the complexity prior to the checkpoint and the higher the number of outputs, the more efficient the checkpoint becomes. Now, that's the concept of checkpoint. The real question becomes, can you do this automatically? The answer is yes. And a follow-up question is, how do you identify where a checkpoint is worth adding? The first point is there has to be a real fork. There has to be multiple outputs for it to make sense. That's the obvious one. The second point is the checkpoint must be added as far downstream as the sharing holds, meaning right before split. And the last point is adding a checkpoint must be worth more than the overhead. You must be saving some level of complexity that warrants even adding a checkpoint. And we're counting for that in the complexity heuristics that we've built and that are shared across the script. Now, how do you put this in production? Obviously, if you only have tens of pipeline builders across your Foundry stack, it does not make sense to go this route. You sift through the pipeline builders manually, and you can identify whether and where to put checkpoints. Now, if you have thousands of pipeline builders, maybe hundreds, that's where you need a real strategy in order to put this in production. So today with the video, you'll have the ability to decide whether and where to put a checkpoint, do this automatically, as well as create a PR. That's the first step. The step 0 would be finding the pipelines that are worth touching. You can either go through approach, find all of the pipeline builders across your stack through a basic Compass API hit and go through them with the script. The smarter approach would be to go through resource management, identify all the pipeline builders that are incurring above a certain cost, and put them through this process. Now, the last point is the validation. How do you prove the savings before you actually do the merge? It's the technique that would be, you have a branch that has a checkpoint, you have a branch that does not have a checkpoint. You're going to monitor the builds of those two branches, monitor the cost, monitor the runtime, and identify whether it's actually worth it to merge the checkpointed branch. Now, just a quick example of what it looks like in practice. Here, we have a pipeline builder with simple pipeline builder with two outputs and two shared transformations, transformation here and a join here. Now we have a script that computes the complexity up to this point. So it computes the complexity of this one, it computes the complexity of that one, it does the cumulative complexity of this, finds whether it's above arbitrarily set threshold, and says, okay, this has enough complexity, I should put a checkpoint. So what the script does is it identifies where a checkpoint should be added, if there might be multiple checkpoints in your pipeline, and also creates a proposal, so creates a pull request, and adds all of the outputs to the same group so they can really materialize the effects of the checkpoint. Thank you all for watching, and don't hesitate to tune in for next videos on Foundry FinOps.